In April 2011, Breakthrough UK, who are an organisation of disabled people based in Ardwick, Manchester, launched the Right to Control, a new initiative that gives disabled people control over their personal budget and also allows them to buy in their own support and requirements. But what does the Right to Control mean and do? I spoke to a few people who were involved in Right to Control and asked for their opinions on it. I first spoke to Sarah Riley, the project manager for the Manchester Area Partnership Centre for Independent Living, who actively promote the Right to Control and was launched by Breakthrough UK. Okay, thank you very much for agreeing to be interviewed, Sarah.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Okay, right. This is regarding about the Right to Control and it's a pilot with a possible future. Okay, the first question is, what was your understanding of the Right to Control? That was, of course, before you became the manager.
Ah, that's an interesting question, Mark, because the Right to Control was quite new to me, as were direct payments. So when I came into and became a manager within Breakthrough, and recognised that we were a strategic partner within the Trailblazer, I actually had to go through quite a steep learning curve.
Okay.
So my first thoughts around the Right to Control were, I can't believe that this is only happening now, in terms of providing the opportunity for individuals to actually choose and control their own personal budgets themselves. So I was quite amazed that this was a new thing, a new right.
Okay.
And when I found that out, I was determined to make sure that my team made a very positive contribution and were able to make a difference.
Okay, that's good. Do you believe that the Right to Control can help disabled people?
Oh, very much so. The Right to Control that and the work that we've done here at the Centre for Independent Living, which is a centre that's linked to each of the 5 local authorities involved in the Trailblazer. We've got lots of evidence to demonstrate that positive outcomes have been achieved for customers, if you like, Right to Control customers, in terms of achieving better outcomes to improve their quality of life, and to be a bit more creative and innovative in terms of how they choose to spend their funding in a way that actually meets their needs and aspirations.
Okay, just to confirm, what were the areas that the Right to Control covers? Just for those people who might not know.
The areas, okay. Well, in terms of the local authority areas,
that's what I mean.
Yep. We start with Bury, then we move to Oldham.
Right.
Then we move to Manchester, Stockport and Trafford.
Okay.
So that's 5 of the 10 local authorities that are in Greater Manchester.
Okay, that's good. Okay, what is your opinion on the work of the Right to Control?
Well, from a personal perspective, I can speak about the Centre for Independent Living and the fact that we have a team of advocates and independent living support workers who work very hard, mainly doing home visits to deliver services to Right to Control customers around advocacy, brokerage, support planning, which is one of our major successes in terms of demonstrating that you can use different formats for support planning, and we've tested out some new examples to see whether or not customers feel more confident, perhaps with visual or audio, or rather than the just normal bog standard text-based forms that they normally have to complete, as well as signposting. And I think they're the services that we deliver. And in terms of the customer satisfaction around that, we've been very successful. Does that answer your question?
Well, that's really interesting, yeah. One big question that I was wondering was, if the Right to Control did go national, how would it be perceived in the public domain?
How would it be? Okay, I think partners within the Trailblazer across the Greater Manchester area, as I said, I think what we would like to do is perhaps take away the title which is the right to control. Because in reality, the personalisation agenda, person-centred planning, and the individual actually being in the centre of everything that's happening and making those decisions for themselves is very important. I think what the feeling has been is that the title, the right to control, has been seen as something different to personalisation, when really it is really a golden thread that runs through the personalisation agenda. So in the future, when the legislation is continued and that choice and control aspect remains, I think it's a shared thinking, that it will become almost mainstream.
Right.
It will become part of the mainstream delivery, both with local authorities and different sectors supporting customers through that personalisation journey.
Okay. Okay, thank you much for the review, Sarah. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
The right to control was first set up through input by the design group, who are all disabled people. Now, I spoke to two of their members regarding the right to control. First was Alister Rowe, who is also involved with the Great Manchester Coalition of Disabled People. Okay, Alister, thank you much for agreeing to be interviewed. The article I'm doing is regarding about right to control, a pilot with a positive future. The first question is, what is your understanding of the right to control?
The right to control, I understand it as an extension to prioritisation, which encapsulates, brings together the ideas of, I can't remember what it's called. What's it called when you're given money?
Personal budgets.
Personal budget, okay. Yeah. Which prioritisation, which brings together the use of personal budgets in a personal way.
Right. Okay. Do you believe, in your opinion, that the right to control can help?
Oh, I think the right to control is an excellent idea. The right to control itself isn't just about personalisation, because it brings in several other feeds, government funding feeds. I can't quite remember what the funding feeds are, but what it does is it brings in these various feeds and allows them to be brought together and used together to fund various things that the user, the client, might want to do.
Okay.
Rather than each fund separately, say for instance providing a PA, if you bring that together, then one PA could be got instead of two.
Right. Okay. What is your opinion on the work of the right to control?
The work of the right to control? I don't quite understand.
Mainly the Centre of Independent Living itself and the work that they've done so far. What is your opinion about it?
My opinion of the work of the right to control is that there seems to be a challenge with regard to acquiring various ways of demonstrating the usefulness of it. It's definitely a useful thing. I think it's so new that a lot of people are afraid of choosing it, because one aspect of the right to control is your choice. So you can choose to use your right to control, or you can choose to not use your right to control and allow the government bodies, whoever they might be, to tell you how you're spending. If you choose, they don't tell you how to spend. They might advise you, but you can choose how to spend your money.
It's all on choice, isn't it?
It is.
Right. Okay. Okay. One big question I'm wondering is, if the right to control went national, how would it be perceived in the public domain?
I've had experience of currently, the right to control is restricted to 6 or 7 trailblazer areas of the country in England. I have had we are part of the Manchester Area Partnership, which includes 5 of the 10 local authorities.
Yes.
I have spoken to people from local authorities within the Manchester area who are not part of the Trailblazer, who have shown a lot of interest in it. So I suspect that a lot of the local authority areas are now regretting that they didn't become part of the Trailblazer, and I think with experience the country will come to see it as a good thing, but they might say, oh no, not another deal, when it's really just an extension to the personalisation agenda, which is already out there.
Okay, right. Well, that's great. Thank you very much for agreeing to be here.
And thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. One other member I also spoke with was Richard Currie, who is currently involved with Breakthrough UK with their policy unit. Okay, thank you for agreeing to be here, Richard.
No problem, Mark.
Right, okay. My first question is, what is your understanding of the right to control?
The right to control is a government trailblazer or pilot that seeks to give disabled people more choice and control over how their assessed support needs are met.
Right, okay. Okay, secondly, do you believe that it can help disabled people?
I believe the innovative thing about right to control is it really gives disabled people real power over how they meet their support needs. For example, in the past, once you're given a support budget, it was provided by traditional care companies or the such archaic organisations who said that you got the support when they decided, not when you wanted it. So I think it really does give disabled people to have more choice and opportunity in their lives.
That's good. Okay, next, what is your opinion on the work of the right to control?
I think the work of the right to control trailblazer is both challenging and innovative. Because we're seeking to change attitudes, behaviours and outcomes for disabled people. So that involves working with colleagues within Manchester City Council or Trafford or Bury or Stockport to try and bring about changes whereby a disabled person is given more choice and flexibility over how their care needs are met.
Right, okay, that's good. I guess I've got one big question for myself is, if the right to control went national,
okay,
how would it be perceived back in the domain?
I think disabled people and their organisations have campaigned since the 1960s really for more choice and control over their lives, and it may be considered by some, if not all, to be an achievement, to be the epitome of an achievement of disabled people truly having the right to independent living and choice and control over their lives. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Well, thanks very much, Richard. That's great. Cheers.
Absolutely not a problem. Thanks.
Finally, I spoke to a member of an organisation who are activists in the people's rights, which are a Greater Manchester Coalition of Disabled People. And Tober, who is also the administrator for the Right to Control Design Group, agreed to speak to me regarding the right to control itself and the importance of making its info accessible and easy to understand. Okay, Anne, thank you very much for agreeing to be interviewed regarding about the right to control. And the articles on right to control, a pilot with a positive future. Okay, first question is, what is your understanding of the right to control?
Well, my role within right to control is just my actual job role as the administrator to support the involvement of the design group, and the design group is made up of disabled residents from the 5 local authorities, who then help to design, if you like, I guess, the right to control. And it's very much about understanding that we need to understand the access requirements of the people who are in the design group. And if we address those, if there's somebody almost preparing the foundation, that then enables that involvement. So, sorry, what was the question again?
It's asking, what is your understanding of the right to control?
Yeah, so I think my understanding is developing as time goes by, and the right to control is obvious. Sorry, the right to control is supposedly going to impact beneficially on disabled people, but for the professional bodies to be able to put this impact in place in a positive way, they do need to be involving and working with disabled people and disabled people's organisations, because actually it's the disabled people and the disabled people's organisations who are the experts in this field.
Okay, that's great. Do you believe that the right to control can help disabled people in general?
Absolutely. If the same commitment to making this work can come from the statutory bodies that I've observed coming from the disabled people and organisations like Greater Manchester Coalition and Breakthrough UK, it needs real commitment from all of the statutory bodies, and I sometimes wonder if the statutory bodies, the local authorities, Job Centre Plus, if they really properly understand this.
Right. Okay, and what is your opinion on the work of the right to control, what they've done so far?
Well, quite interestingly, on the 20th of June, I went to London, to Caxton House, for a workshop at the headquarters of the Department of Work and Pension. And I was fortunate enough to be representing Greater Manchester Coalition at this workshop. Mark was there, who works in Manchester still as well, Mark Gallagher. But I think that's really helped me. That's really helped me see how it all links in, because the design group that I helped to facilitate, they're being listened to by the other parties within the right to control, but also the design group, which is made up of disabled people, has got a link in now with the Disability Directorate at the Department of Work and Pension, which in turn advises Rachel Perkins, who's the chair of Equality 2025, and she in turn advises the Minister of Disabled People. So you can suddenly see a really positive thread from grassroots right through to the top of government.
Well, that's good.
Fabulous, really, isn't it?
That's good. Now, the big question I want to know is, if the right to control went national, how would it be perceived in the public domain?
I think that even the word right to control, you know, it's words that have been chosen perhaps by, I wish you maybe disabled people's input, but I think it would need to be explained in the easiest way possible to everybody what this means, so that there isn't a sort of feeling of them and us. Why is it disabled people have the right to control and I haven't, that kind of thing. I think it begins, I think we need to be very careful to get a very simple message across here, and the simple message is that within statutory agencies and organisations, they still don't understand the barriers that disabled people...
Disabled face, you mean? Yeah.
No, the actual barriers that disable people.
Right.
If a person is disabled by barriers, because actually, I'm a disabled person, but I have a hearing impairment. My hearing impairment isn't going to change. But if I go to a big meeting and everybody's talking quietly and there's no microphones, I'm disabled because I can't hear what everybody's saying. So it's back to this social model of disability,
Right.
which is, and organisations really need to wake up to this. The very top people in organisations have a duty to understand this, and this is why it's so important. This is why disabled people need, in inverted commas, right to control, because for so long, linked to the barriers we face, we've been excluded.
I see. Well, and that's really interesting. Thank you very much for agreeing to be interviewed.
Oh, that's okay, Mark. I hope that I've answered the questions you've asked and I've not diversified all over the place.
It's
but
fine, it's fine.
It's
really very detailed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Many thanks to all those who have agreed to be interviewed. The right to control itself is currently a pilot, which is due to end in December this year, but already many disabled people are discovering that they have their right to control and are getting support in taking control of their lives. If you would like to know more about the right to control, then please check out Breakthrough UK's website at www.breakthrough-uk.co.uk, or alternatively you can call the Right to Control Centre for Independent Living of the Manchester Area Partnership based over at Breakthrough UK on 0161 273 5412.